On this episode of Inside the Mind, I interview a man that personally helped me take my business to the next level. He's a gym owner and a mentor for personal trainers. This interview is jam-packed with so much value and insight, so I know you're going to enjoy this, all right? Check it out. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you taking up the time. I know about what you do as far as how you have your gym set up for trainers to be able to train their clients independently. And I know how you do the mentorship for personal trainers, helping them 10x their business. But I want you to explain to everybody else, how did you get to this point? What made you realize this opportunity? And what made you actually start this?
Well, good to be here, first of all. Excited to be here. I feel like a superstar right now. So I got here, so for those who don't know, I own Work Fitness in San Diego. Work Fitness is a place that trains or that allows trainers to come in and train their clients as a flat monthly rent. The reason how I got here was, I lived in, I grew up in Ohio. I lived in Phoenix for a while, and I saw a need for a place for trainers to be able to not just train their clients because that's easy. I saw a need to create an opportunity for trainers to be able to start living their dreams, rather than being stuck at like a big box gym or being stuck of working outside. That they could have a place where they can become the entrepreneur that they want to, like yourself, and be able to grow their business and have it, and not have things stand in their way. Because a lot of the things that stand in somebody's way are outside of their control. So, if you're an employee at a big box gym, they kind of limit you as far as the sales and the marketing side of things. So that way, you don't feel confident to go out and do it on your own. And that's kind of how the mentorship program started too. So my PT mentor was started out of the need to be able to give that confidence to personal trainers such as yourself, to be able to go out and be the entrepreneur that you always felt that you were, but never really had much of an opportunity because you weren't given the confidence and the ability to go out and do it before.
Mm-hmm. And I always ask this question: what do you feel like, in your opinion, from what you see, as far as holding personal trainers back from taking that step from being a big box gym to actually working by themselves independently?
What is the thing that stands in their way?
Yeah, in their way.
It really just boils down to the confidence in it. I think that they're most of the trainers, if not all of them, that I've met are actually pretty good personal trainers. That they know the human body, they know how to train somebody effectively and safely. I think that the biggest thing is that they just simply don't have the confidence to go out and to do it on their own, because there would be no reason to stay if you knew that you could get 100% of the money doing it on your own. Why wouldn't you, if you did have that confidence in your ability to at least go out and market effectively, and then to be able to sell? Not everybody has a place that they can do it, like a Work Fitness type of place, but at the same time, I would say that that's kind of the biggest obstacle for most trainers, that they simply just don't have the confidence. And then on top of that, to be honest with you, a lot of it comes down to a matter of pride. Are you willing to go out and get the help that you need the same way that you feel that you can help your clients? And I think that too often that doesn't happen. And that's okay. That's kind of what separates you from the average. Is that you go out and you seek that information to get better. Doesn't matter what it is. And I think that if we focus on getting better at the right places and the right things, that it can be anything that you want it to be. Most of the personal trainers that are out there, like if you name like celebrity personal trainers, like kind of like a Jillian Michaels type of thing, it's not because they know something about the body and about training that nobody else does. It's they know how to sell it, and they know how to market effectively, and that's the difference between being a good trainer and being a successful trainer.
And it's interesting you said that, because I just had a conversation with another lady, and she was basically saying that what separates her from everyone else is the marketing aspect, that she makes sure everyone knows who she is, basically. And like,
I feel like, in my opinion, what I see also with a lot of trainers too, that they're afraid to put themselves out there. And I see that a lot. But also, and for me, looking back myself months ago, is that, as we talked, that I really didn't know what I was doing myself, and to get the coaching, the guidance to see exactly what to do. And as far as that, though, like, I had another conversation with another person that said they're reluctant to get coaching because they feel like it's a scam or something like that, or they're just someone that's after their money. What would you say to someone that has that mindset, that thinking coaching is a scam, or someone just trying to take their money or something like that?
Yeah. Well, coming from me, it would be a little bit biased.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But I totally understand it. To me, if that's why it's important for me to give a lot of it away, so people can at least see that, like, okay, the information that I give is credible. I can use it. Versus, to me, there's an issue with, like, if I have to pay in order to find out something, that to me is, I would be skeptical. But at the same time, it's a matter of, for example, if I were to just say, like, okay, if my PT mentor is X dollars to sign up with, and in order for you to find out what's inside, you have to pay that amount of money. That to me isn't fair, and I wouldn't be able to have the expectation to be able to run a successful business from that. But if I can start to show you certain things that I can help with, maybe not 100%, but if I can show you 95, 96%, and then you're going to want that extra, 3 or 4%, because that's the real difference maker. So to give the advice on something like that would be, we usually are only going to do that with people that we've either been referred to by. That's the kind of the best thing for coaches and mentors is the referral, because if you can help one, that person can tell somebody else who they got help with. But like I said, man, like, most of it is a pride driven thing. Like, if I ask for help, that's an admission that, like, I'm not perfect, and it's a shame because so many people could do such great things. But most people, like myself, yourself, like everybody that I know, is not perfect. They do something really, really well, and I want to know if I can get myself to do something a little bit better, because they can tell me what that is, and I can learn from it, so I can kind of get a little bit closer to perfection, knowing that I'm never going to really achieve it. I think that, like, if you just can swallow your pride and say, you know what, if I can make more money, or in my opinion, for a personal trainer, it's not even about just making more money, because that will be a byproduct of it. To me, it's like, if you really have the passion to be able to help somebody, by being able to do these things, you will be able to help more people. And if that's what it's all about at the end of the day, then if you can help people and make money with it too, that to me is the ideal circumstance, right? That to me is what makes the world go round, basically. 100%. Is that if you can help somebody and you can do well at it too, financially, what's wrong?
Man. And I know, and that's valuable information. And me being in the field, I can see it and I apply it every day. But I also know that entrepreneurship, running businesses, is not how it looks like, how it's glamorized on social media and stuff like that. So you, in your experience running multiple businesses, what would you say, like, the top two, like, hardest things is when it comes to managing or running your businesses?
The number one thing, and I think that too many people that don't own a business, that dream of it, and I was just having this conversation just 20 minutes ago too, so I'm glad that you asked. Great question. The thing is like, people tend to look at business as a whole, and they just kind of say, okay, well, business in general is a very big idea. So, like, when we think of business, a lot of people kind of lean towards, like, well, it's Microsoft, not, the mom and pop store. And a lot of people kind of just end up looking at a business as this kind of big, intimidating thing when it's really not. One of the things that I've always done well is I'm always able to simplify a problem. And that is just one of my strengths. And so, like, you would say, okay, I want to run a business, but how do I either get started and then how do I make it survive when it doesn't do so well? And one of the things that is super duper important is to kind of break your business down. Because if I were to say to you as a personal trainer, if I were to say to you, and you might be intimidated to go out and do it on your own, I would say, well, could you train a client? Yeah, you know, you have no problem training physically a client. Would you be able to go out and market effectively? Maybe. If not, that's where you get your help, right?
Okay.
Could you go out and could you, if I got somebody to sit down in front of you that was interested in it, could you sell it? And so again, like we kind of tend to look at business as this one big thing when it's actually just a combination. It's kind of like a result of all these little things. So if you do your advertising well, you're probably going to have a better chance of having a successful business. But you could also advertise, and I think that your last interviewer or interviewee said this, which if you can get all these people in and you can't sell them, you're out of business.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's knowing what part of the business, because it's not usually all of those parts that people struggle with. But if you look at it as a whole, it looks like it's too much to overcome. But if you say, like, well, I need to get better at my marketing, so I'm going to go seek the advice of people who know marketing inside and out and find out what I should do. That's what can separate a business that succeeds versus a business that never even starts. Because that's, if you look at it, man, there are so many people who have a really good idea, who have what it really takes to run a business, because it doesn't take a whole lot. Like, I'm not the smartest person on the planet, I promise. Don't agree with that, but it doesn't take this, like, a lot of people think that in order to get into a business, I have to invent the next Facebook, or if I'm going to create an app, that I need to create the next Snapchat or something like that. And it's just not the case. People look at it as like, well, it's either all or nothing, and it's like, no, there's plenty of that in between, and that's actually what 99.9% of it is that in between, where it's, I have a solution to a problem, I think I can do it better than somebody else, and now it's a matter of getting as many people to know about it, getting as many people to buy it, whatever that means, and just keep them happy with a good customer experience. I think that's just lacking too much, and so all the people that hopefully are watching this, that are kind of on the fence about starting a business, it's like, if you really break it down, you already know most of it. You just need help with that one part, and that might be the marketing. It's a big part, but it's still that one part out of many different parts. That shouldn't be the reason that you don't get help in that area and then go do it, because it's so much better.
Oh my gosh, you're hitting it home right now with that statement.
Hopefully, yeah. We're getting deep.
Yeah.
So,
seriously.
That's the thing, man. It just depresses me. It really does. Just, am I able to swear on here? Can I swear?
Yeah.
It fucking depresses me that there's too many people out there that are struggling, whether that be in their own business and not asking for help, as if like asking for help is the worst thing, because that's what we preach.
Yeah.
In our industry, is like, it's okay to ask for help. Yet we can't take our own advice a lot of times, and I think that's such a shame, because there's so many good trainers out there that could be successful trainers that aren't. And then just in business in general, there's somebody that's going to watch this that works a 9 to 5, is intimidated by this idea that, like, well, if it's not this huge thing, if it doesn't make me $100 million, then I'm not going to do it, because that's a shame. Because I can tell you that I've made I've made more money doing other things, but I've never been happier, and my wife can tell you that.
Hitting it home. It's funny that you're talking about. I want to backtrack a little bit, because this happened to me too. And when I first started personal training independently, I was cruising, getting people in, closing people, and then I kind of hit like cruise control for a little bit, not focusing more on the marketing and getting people in anymore. And yesterday, the reason why I bring this up is because literally yesterday, I was in the gym and I had overheard a conversation, and I heard another trainer saying like they're content where they're at, and I was in the same mindset, that right there. And as soon as you get content, that's when everything starts to fall apart, at least for me. And that's what happened to me too.
Sure.
And so, how do you find ways, if this happens to you, or if you were to give the advice to someone else, how do you find ways to get out of that like content, satisfied mode?
I I don't think that there's a sentence that I could give you that would do that. I think that what that stems from is I think that I've never been content with things that I've been passionate about. And I think that, like, because I always, anytime that you're passionate about something, and I think that there's, people try to develop passion, which I'll kind of get into in here in a second because I think that it matters. But, like, I think that if that's the case, then they're doing something that they don't like to do anymore. That's my honest opinion. I don't know who you're talking about, but, like, I think that there's a red flag there to me of, like, look, and we tend to think of, like, well, I have to do this forever, and it's like that's not the case. If you do something. If you do something well and you enjoy what you do, you should never really be content because you're always going to want to be further. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know that that's how I feel. That, like, I have passion not in fitness or in the fitness industry or in gym ownership or sales and marketing. I have a passion for helping people. And I think that a lot of trainers do have that same passion to help people with their fitness goals. I think that I think that there's an issue with, is the fire still there, right? With that person, that's what I would be wondering. Like, if I could give you something to do something else, what would it be? And I think that we would have a different answer, because personal training's tough, man. Like, there's no question that, like, I haven't talked to a single person. One of the questions that I ask is, do you plan on retiring as a personal trainer? And 100% of the time so far, it's been no. Yeah. So it's like, you don't necessarily need to have the answer as to what's next. You just have to kind of always be on the lookout for, like, you know what, this is something that this is my passion. Now, how do I develop that as a business? And I've done that through the My PT Mentor. Is I obviously have a good knowledge of marketing and sales, but that's not, there's a lot of people who do. My passion is I want to help a certain particular person, which is a personal trainer, especially a one-on-one personal trainer, who I think is being abandoned. So I say, okay, I've got the passion for this, I've got the knowledge to make it work, and I've got the right person who I think could benefit from it most. Too many businesses try to blanket everything without, and then try to talk to everybody, and then ultimately talk to nobody because of it. As far as being content, man, I think that's passion driven. I just can't see anything else. That if you're going to work on a daily basis and it's just like meh, like, that's not good. And eventually that seed is going to grow into a big thing that's going to destroy you from the inside out. I think that that's what happens as people get older, and that's kind of where, like, a midlife crisis would come from, simply because it's like, you know what, I'm not content with this anymore. I'm not happy. The thing that I thought was going to make me happy didn't. And now it's time for a change. And people are just kind of too worried and too concerned. And I get it, to switch, to do something else, to just, you hear about people who, like, randomly quit their job at, 45 years old or something like that. And it's like, good for you, man. Because, like, if you didn't do that, that's such a good example that says, like, there's never the good time. So then there's never, like, a bad time, right? There's never that perfect time to do something. Doesn't matter what it is. And, I think that when you have passion behind it, the sky's the limit type of thing. So to answer that question in the longest possible way, I would say that I think it's a matter of just, are you happy where you are? And if you're not, why not? And having an honest assessment with yourself to get past that and to just understand of what's really going on. I think that too many people don't audit themselves, well enough to be to be objective, and they just kind of ignore it. Payday comes, we're right back on top, and then slowly, surely, we get back down. Payday comes, and we just kind of live our lives like that. And I think it's a shame, because I believe that every single person really does have the ability to help someone. A matter of how and with what is what we don't know, and, like, you have to discover that for yourself, because passion isn't, you don't develop passion, it's discovered, in my opinion. So, like, as you go on, like, you start to see, like, man, I'm really good at this. This is what I really like to do. I find this interesting, that I'd almost be willing to do it for no money, because I love it. And I think that that's people need to follow that and kind of tap into that and be aware of what's going on inside their own head, and have an honest conversation with themselves of, am I happy? If not, what am I going to do about it? Where do I get help? What do I do? And it's okay.
Oh my gosh. So do you feel like it comes down?
That was long, sorry.
No worries. Do you feel like it comes back to just asking themselves the right questions? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that it's just being honest with yourself and knowing what you're good at, know what you're not. There's plenty of things, like 98% of shit that I am not good at. Like, I've been good at a few things in my life, and the things that I've been good at, though, I haven't always been passionate about, and that's okay too. So you got to find the thing that you're good at, and find the thing that you're passionate about, and just go with it, because it can take you to places that you never thought imaginable, and then next thing you know, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years down the road, you're doing something even different, and I just follow it. I don't just sit here and wait, let it come to me. I just kind of say, okay, there's kind of an idea, I'm going to follow that, and then as I dig deeper into that, that's how I've landed here. That's how I landed in San Diego. That's kind of how I developed work fitness. It's how I developed, my PT mentor, which is just getting off the ground. But it's I don't care if there's one person on this fucking planet that will take something from it and that can help them. To me, the mission is accomplished. How much money I make off of it, who cares? I love what I do. I think that people can benefit from it. When that one person, the right person sees it, whether it's you or anybody else that sees that one little piece of information, I get a sense of fulfillment from that, and that you can't replace. I can't buy that. I can't. There's no amount of money that will give me a sense of a fulfillment that I get from when somebody looks at me and they learn that one thing and they go, "I'm going to use that." And it's to me, we need more of it, not less.
100%. You're speaking to someone that has been a game changer too, because I've been able to apply that in my business, and now I'm seeing it take off, which is very, very exciting to me. But I want to ask you.
Let me stop you right there, because I think that your benefit is twofold. Number one, that you're growing a successful business, and that's great. But on top of that, your business is becoming successful, and that will start to compound on itself because you're helping people. You're helping people say, you know what, OJ, thank you for making it a safe environment to be honest with you, because we don't want to be honest with total strangers all the time, right? And that's okay. But you create a safe environment for people to be honest with you. Now you understand what they actually want to do. And then when you actually know what they want to do, that's how you can help them. Because it's not just the physical stuff that you can help with, it's also mental 100%. And emotional. And so people can get so much more out of that. Now you can deliver that, so you're improving their lives, perhaps giving them the confidence to go to, even if it's just to raise their hand in a meeting at work that they wouldn't have done before, because now they have the confidence and they don't have the insecurity that they used to be able to do something like that. And I think that that's the fucking best.
One thing.
So don't sell yourself short, brother, because that's what it is. That is what it is. And if you don't believe that, then I want you to open your eyes and say, you know what, I have the ability to help somebody, and because I did, and because I can, they have the ability now to help somebody else, even in the smallest of ways. And to me, that's what the fucking planet revolves around, brother.
Oh my gosh. And it's very, very interesting. You said that, going back to one thing that you taught me well is asking the right questions and trying to understand where the person's coming from. And also, I've been able not to only ask other people, but to myself as well, asking myself the right questions and really understand my tendencies, my weaknesses, my strengths, and stuff like that. So trying to really understand myself as I'm going as well, which is interesting to me, because now I can really see how my conversations, why I act certain ways, why other people act certain ways. So it's been really a game changer.
Right.
One question or two more questions before I let you go. One is, now that you have work fitness going on, my PT mentor, where do you see yourself 2 years from now, 5 years from now doing? Hard question, I know.
I see myself doing the same thing, just on a bigger scale. Because I'm 32 now. I've really kind of found what I love to do and have been able to now apply it to a business in the last few years. So I really do see myself doing the same thing that I am today, helping trainers, because that's where I think I can be of most benefit to be honest. So I don't think that there's going to be much different. I think that maybe I might have like another work fitness at another location, be it Phoenix or Seattle or something like that. Places where I think that it could be useful. And then the My PT Mentor, like I said, it's like, we've had the conversation before about YouTube, about Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. That it's like, you know what? I have to remind myself to not focus on how many subscribers, how many people like this thing, how many tiny little pieces have happened so far, and to me, it's not about that, and I have to remind myself about that because it's difficult. But to me, it's about like if somebody looks at my website for My PT Mentor, and they look at my website and they say like, that was a really good point. I'm going to try that, and it works for them. Look, that's what I'm in. That's what I did it for.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't do it just to to make money from it. I like money just like everybody else, but like if you can get that piece of information because I made it available to you, I think that's great. So like I think that's what I would be doing in just a few years. Just hopefully I can reach more people and help more people. That's what I hope for. I know it sounds like cheesy and probably fake.
No, not.
But I think that if you knew me, like I think that you would know that like that's real. And that I wish that people could understand what this feels like. I hope that people can just go out there and, just like you said, man, be able to just really say, am I perfect at this one thing? Probably not. I've gotten lessons from people. I've bought courses, books, the whole nine, man, because I don't think that I'll ever know enough. I'd rather have more information than less and be able to make my decision based on what I think is going to work and kind of go from there and have a couple different points of view, so I'm not just sold on one, and then think it through critically as to what's going to work for me, and that's what you've done, and that's why it's working, because it's not just the information, it's the ability to say, like, what can I get better at, and then how can I apply it in my own situation, because that's the key, man.
It's interesting that you talk about that. It's not just the information, because another person that I had a conversation with, he really dials in on him giving you information, but he really wants you to get in the process of thinking, of critically thinking, because you can get information, but if you don't apply it or know when to use it or what scenarios to use it in, you're not going to be able to get the best or get the result that you want.
Exactly.
So, I'm glad that you brought that point up.
To that point, man, like, that's why, like, on my website, like, in my interview that I did for My PT Mentor, that interview, like, I kind of rail against, like, the blueprints and the secrets and all the bullshit that's out there because everybody's doing it. Now it's kind of like it's not, to me, it's like if there were an actual blueprint or a secret, everybody would know about it by now and everybody would be using it because it works so well, but that's not the case. And that's not to rail against those people because that's a sales gimmick versus, like, an actual, like, secret or a blueprint. But I think that people are looking too often for, like, what's that one line that's going to make everybody just buy from me? What's the one line that I can post on an ad, that's going to get people to call me? And like, it's not that easy, but it's also not as difficult as it seems to just go out there and be found. One of the things that I talk about with the marketing side of things is like, I don't have to go find anybody. I don't go out there and look at it. It's not because my ideas are so like overwhelmingly amazing. It's because like I just simply go, I believe that this type of person would be interested in what I have, and I'm going to show it to them. And then when they see it, they are going to make their decision however they want to, and then when they're ready to call me, they will. So what I do really well as far as like a marketing side of things is I make it really easy for people to find me, and like when they want it. And that's kind of like the business 101 right there, is that you can be, kind of the old adage is like that you can have the cure for cancer, but if nobody knows about it, you're not going to make any sales, right? And like, but it's a matter of thinking critically. So like, if I give you the information, it's like, what are you going to do with it? Because it's ultimately on you at the end of the day to do something with it.
Man, drop the knowledge.
But people want the cookie cutter. They want the what's the path of least resistance here? What's the thing that I have to do to make it work? And like, let's, like I said, I always tell you that there's no autopilot in any business. In any business, there is no autopilot, because I promise you, if you just stop doing something, it will come to a grinding halt. It's just a matter of when. Some businesses can do it for years and get away with it. Some businesses can do it for a matter of days and they're done. So like you always have to be making more and more people aware that you exist, and the same people that are already aware that they continually know that you're still there. And that's marketing. That's it. And so I just think that it's crazy how many people don't get the help that they really do want or need because of fucking pride. And like, it's the one thing that will make somebody retire unhappy with whatever job that they have because they had too much pride to ask for help with the one thing that could have taken them to the whole new fucking level and like made them happy on top of it. Because it's not just a matter of money that makes people happy, because I can tell you that it's a matter of, you know, are you doing what you truly enjoy, and if you're not, why aren't you? Because it's, you know, security or something like that. And I understand a lot of those reasons, but it's a shame that we look at the things that are standing in the way versus the thing that we want and we go get it. You know, we listen to Simon Sinek about that bagel story, about like, you either see the line at the store to go get that bagel, or you see the bagel and you say, I'm going to get it. You know, there's only two kinds of people, and that's it.
Oh my gosh, man, dropping knowledge. Last but not least, though, my last question: what would you give to yourself, your younger self, 10 years ago? One piece of advice.
You know what, man? Cards on the table. I had more pride than you can possibly imagine. So, like in my situation, and this would change my life entirely, is that when I was in high school, I was a really good baseball player. I was a pitcher, and I ultimately had the chance to play college baseball. I went out to Arizona for that, and I had an ego the size of the fucking Grand Canyon, bro. I was the guy who I could throw. I was throwing in the 90s. I had a mean curveball. I had all that kind of stuff, and my head was larger than. And this is just me being honest with you and the rest of the world, man. But like, if I could go back in time, I would slap the shit out of my former self and just be like, you know what, like, what are you thinking? Like, you have no, and unfortunately I had no way of knowing that at 18 or 19 years old, so like, there's nothing that I could probably say to him at that time. Like, I'd probably just beat him up, you know, like, just so I could, because I mean, like, that's fucking pride, and that's what gets in the way. And then when finally I had a person kind of set me straight when I was 20 or 21 years old, that really kind of taught me, like, okay, it's time to fucking grow up, type of thing. And I did, and it was like, okay, that's when I just started paying attention to everything, of saying, like, you know, this could be better, or I could do this in a different way that I think would be more beneficial to the company or to the consumer. And I never stopped. And so to me, if I could go back in time to give myself advice, it would just be to just swallow your pride and, like, pay attention to the people who know what the fuck they're doing. You know, because, like, at 18 or 19 years old, you're like, whatever, who cares? Yeah, and it's like, you know, at 18 or 19, you might not even be able to be convinced of it, but at the same time, at some point, at the right time, and I think that's a timing thing, that somebody's going to come along, put you in your place, and tell you that it's time to grow up. So that happens in a variety of different ways from a variety of different people, but for me, I was kind of one of those dumb, stupid assholes, basically, that you know, that was just aimless for a little longer than most people are. Yeah. And then I finally got to the point where I could I had a good focus, got me focused on one thing, and that turned into another, and here I am.
Oh my gosh. I'm enlightened right now.
Yeah, wow, this is going a lot more personal than I ever thought it would. I think that's the thing, though. It's like, you know, if you had everybody's got that kind of, like, embarrassing story about themselves, or at least, you know, most people do, that, like, it kind of stands in their way, and that's what kind of even creates, like, more pride. Like, don't tell anybody, just don't fail ever again. And, like, you know, I don't have any problem failing. I just have a problem with not trying. I know that's cliche, but like, you know, when it's the right idea and you've really thought through it, like, I thought about all the obstacles that could stand up in your way, why aren't you doing, like, oh, you and I talked the other day, it's like, if I asked you, if you wanted to start an auto body shop today, you know, if I gave you the right amount of money, could you do it? And you said no, and I said, bullshit, you could. Mm-hmm. You just have to think about things like okay, well, I just need to hire the right people who do know what they're doing, get the advice from people who do know what they're doing, because business is all about dollars in and dollars out.
Yeah.
Can you help somebody? Are you doing something better than the next guy? And that's it. So too many people out there don't start a business because they feel like they don't know enough about something, or that they need help in this one area, but they're not willing to go get it. There's a few different factors, but they're easy to overcome. Actually, when you think about it, if you're just honest and you just say, you know what, like, let's go get help. Your singular focus always has to be, I want to help people. How can I do that? The more people that you can reach in your marketing, the better. The more people that you can sell, the better, because that's more people that you can help. And that's what it is at the end of the day. So never lose sight of that. I don't care where it is that all this stuff takes you. Just make sure that you never lose sight of what you're actually trying to do, and that's trying to help somebody. And I think that you're doing that right now, so keep that up.